Good evening, everybody. I am your host, Jack Remington, of the Jack Remington NFL channel. Gotta make a quick video here for Thanksgiving turkey days and Black Friday game, because we're using them for this soup contest. Fish saying, I'm suiting to you one more time, my friend. Good hard work. He got the lines posted for this week, including the 3 turkey games and the Black Friday game. So I won 3 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie last week. So I'll put all that on the next video, either in the next couple days or a week later, as usual. So these are my notes. I got the 5 teams, a couple of scribble notes about McCarthy, the coach for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't have much time editing. I got to get the video up and out. We're busy like everybody else. How's that? So game 1, we're actually getting some line value with this one, so I like that. We're taking the Dallas Cowboys. They're home, and then they're playing the New York Giants, who are many of the people I follow, and I got them as the 31st team in the NFL. Second to the last. I mean, that's not very good. I don't need to see what they've done for head-to-head or anything like that in the past. I'm basing this game on a couple of variables that I think are very powerful. The first most powerful variable I got for this game is that the quotes coming, 3 quotes in a row from the New York Giants locker room after their horrendous loss, their no-show against the Buccaneers last week at home. They lost 30-7. The quotes are saying, hey, you know, like how we're doing things, check with the coach Dayball. You know, I mean, they're throwing a coach under the bus. I don't think anybody's coming back at the end of the season. They've mailed it in. I like betting against teams that's mailed it in. They said the same thing about the Cowboys, but you know what? They showed last week that they haven't mailed it in. And especially if it's a division rival like the Commanders. Would you think it's any less intense with the New York Giants coming into town? If the team has quit, or if the majority of the players on either offense or defense have quit, they don't care if it's a division rivalry or not, right? Does it make sense? If they quit, they quit. They're saving themselves for next season. They're playing not to get hurt. Let the next guy make the tackle. Take a quarter step here. Let them get 5 yards, make an easier tackle on their body instead of trying to only get 5 inches. I played ball, I can say that. I wasn't not very good, didn't get very far, but most of us on pregame.com, we have played some sort of ball. Even if it's sandlot ball in the parking lot in your neighborhood. We've all played ball. We all know how the games work. We all are athletic in our days. I just think that Dallas has got something to prove. They actually are not mathematically eliminated where the Giants were eliminated either 2 weeks ago or last week. They're done. They cannot get a playoff spot. Even if the rest of the teams lose out, they can't win. McCarthy, the coach for the Cowboys, he got extended for a year. Now, I'm going to catch some flack for this, and this is take 3, so I'll make it brief and quick. I think McCarthy's a damn good coach. I know you're going to mock me and you can get on me on pregame.com. You can do that. I don't care. That's fine. You can do all that. I'm here to tell you that McCarthy's a good coach. If it wasn't for him, they wouldn't even have a win this year. They'd be lucky to have 1 win right now. I know he's tried a couple fake punts here and there, but you know what? There were lost cause games anyway. Why not? McCarthy he's sneaky good. He's got a Lombardi trophy. He had a couple close calls to get another Lombardi here and there when they had Aaron Rodgers with the Green Bay Packers. They had an off year where they only won 5 games and 11 losses, a big injury year and everything else. But you know what? McCarthy routed them, and next year they were back in the playoffs. I'm telling you, this is a good coach. He's better than most. And that's why Jerry Jones won't fire him, because he knows he's got a good coach that's going to take his bull crap. We're taking the Cowboys. They got something to play for. Cooper Rush looked pretty good. I watched the highlights of this Tommy DeVito. I'm so upset, Danny DeVito. He played worse than Danny DeVito. That just popped in my head. Sorry, folks. He's missing the receivers. A couple of them were dropped. The Bucs could have been 50-7 if they'd been trying hard. I just think Dallas Cowboys are licking their chops, and they're going to tee off on this Giants team. And both these teams have not won a home game. That's my second variable. Okay, Dallas is 0-5 this year with at least the playoff game when we had Green Bay. Thank you. When Green Bay massacred Dallas at Dallas. So it's at least 6 home games in a row that they've lost. Possibly 7. I'm not going to look up on off time. And the Giants have not won a home game this year either. Why is that? A guy at work asked me that the other day. Well, how come teams can't win at home? And I told him, I said, the New York press is pretty brutal, and they truly are. It's probably the worst in the country, with Philadelphia a close second, and then possibly Los Angeles a good third, and then you got Chicago. You got your majors. They're called the majors. They're in the parking lot, and people are booing them and throwing beer cans at them and stuff. Nobody waiting for you at the airport. Or if we got a small crowd, well, they're all holding protest signs. Fire the coach. Get rid of this. Cut this player. The guy's a bum. They're all a bunch of bums. Bunch of that's pretty hard to take week after week after week. And you're driving home and you turn on the radio and the New York Giants just lost again. I mean, it gets to you. So when they're on the road, they can relax, they can focus a little bit, and they focus on the next opponent, and then they get to play sport to their home crowd. And I know there's a lot to that because I played ball. Got to travel on the team bus with the teams when we were going from city to city during our football years. I mean, and I know what that's like. We're going to take the home chalk, Dallas Cowboys, on the Fishang Soup Simulator. Fishang will suit you again. It's 3.5. Well, now I see Giants plus 4.5. You watch it now. Tomorrow it'll be 5 or higher. You watch. Next game. Okay, we're scratching the Miami Dolphins game. That was going to be our second pick. We weren't going to take the Dolphins, but I'll talk about it on the next video why I scratched the Dolphins game. So our second pick, it's a Black Friday game. We're taking the Las Vegas Raiders and those generous 12 points. I know the Chiefs, they're 10-1. They're tied with the best record in the NFL. They still got the best record in the AFC at 10-1. Buffalo beat them the other week. Kansas City loses again. Buffalo's got the number 1 seed, and that's a very coveted thing. Since the realignment 5 years ago, the top 2 seeds would get a bye, would get a rest period. Not anymore. Only the 1 seed gets it, the way it's structured. So I look for the NFL to change that or make another adjustment. I hope they don't add another playoff team. That would just ruin everything. Now everybody's in the playoffs. Then you'll be getting your 7 and 10s and 8 and 9s and stuff like that in the playoffs again. You have 2 in the same conference. No. But anyway, we like the Raiders. Why? Well, the Raiders are still playing pretty hard. I know they've lost 7 in a row. I know they've had a couple close calls. They've made it close in the last 10 games between these two teams, the Chiefs and the Raiders. And it's a heated rivalry. The Raiders gave them everything they got. They covered the spread. They lost, but they covered the spread. The road team has covered the last 6 out of 10. When you have a point spread like this, it's called the gift from heaven, the gift from God point spread. So we're taking the gift. Because Kansas City, they don't care, but they want to do just enough to win the game, and they're saving their bodies, and they're saving their players for the next game. I'm not an Andy Reid fan, but he's got a bunch of Super Bowl rings now. He's chasing Bill Belichick. If he keeps Patrick Mahomes and he keeps that Chris Jones on defense and keeps Spagnuolo, he might get there. Andy Reid has finally learned his lessons from the Philadelphia Eagle days and his early Chief days. Let your players do what they do. You make a command decision when the time calls for that, and that's it. So he's finally learned his lesson. And now he's got some Super Bowl rings. How about that? Isn't that wonderful how that works? So the Raiders, they play hard. I mean, every first half they're in the games. And the one game they weren't in the game was when they beat the Ravens in week 2. They had a good second half. They had a good fourth quarter. We know what we're getting with the Chiefs. They like to do just enough to win. The Raiders, they can play spoiler. They beat them on Christmas Day last year at Kansas City. So the other pundits are saying, well, Kansas City be ready this time. Yeah, well, number 1, this is Christmas. This is Thanksgiving. And number 2, and the Chiefs have never been 10-1. So, and the Raiders have never been like 2-8 like at this point in the season the last few years. I mean, and they got the first year coach. I mean, they have a lot of things that could go in their favor, and they would love nothing. This would be their Super Bowl if they could knock the Chiefs off and cost them that number 1 seed. So let me close on that. When they take a big point spread like this, I'm an underdog better anyway. It's called the gift from heaven. So we're taking the 12 generous points. We're losing the line value. It's 13.5 now. We're still going to take the generous 12. That suits you again, Fishang. I can't say no good things about this man. And I'm glad to have made his acquaintance. Oh, it just dropped, so sorry. And I'm very glad to have made his acquaintance. I made a friend through pregame.com. That beats the normal thing where I got nothing but enemies. And that's enough of that. There is one thing I skipped with the Raiders game, and I think it's pretty important. The money's coming in a very strange manner. Well, for the spread, the bet-wise, it's 55-45, which that's slightly favoring the Raiders. But on the money line, only 3% of the bet tickets are on the Raiders, 97% are on Kansas City. But the money total, here, get this, it's 18% versus 82. For the Kansas City, let me slow it down here. It's the bet ticket numbers, 97% of the ticket numbers are on Kansas City, only 3% on the Raiders. 3% versus 18%. That's a 15-point difference. That means there's sharp money coming in on the money line on the Las Vegas Raiders. I saw that and I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a shot at here. You know, there's somebody out there knows something. I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to grab the Raiders. And a money line, you know, they're expecting them to win this game. I'm only wanting them to cover points. So a big difference. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get to the next game. Game number 3. It is going to be December 1st. It's my son's birthday. Seattle Seahawks at the New York Jets. On Fishang's Soup Simulator contest, it's Seattle -2. As of right now, it is, Well, it just changed. It's going back and forth between 3 and 1.5. So it's bouncing all over the place. Again, okay, the Jets just fired their general manager. Okay, the Jets are a complete dumpster fire. Aaron Rodgers not helping any. I'm seeing no leadership quotes from him. The first few years he was with Green Bay, he was actually called the field general leader for that team. But something happened somewhere, and it's beyond the scope of this video to discuss it even. Somewhere he lost his way, and it's all about him instead of his team. And to his defense, and I actually defended him at the point, he would say, hey, look, I don't play defense. But you know what? When he said that, he lost his team. He lost his special teams. He lost the coach. McCarthy. He lost a lot. He lost everything. He lost the fan base. And the guy, one of my part-time jobs, he has some extremely unfavorable, and he's from Green Bay, Wisconsin. He has some extremely unfavorable things to say about Aaron Rodgers. He called him Little B, big mouth Little B. Keep quiet and play football. The guy's right, but you know what? There's two sides of every story, and I've had enough years to see this, and I'm a football nut. When Aaron Rodgers shoved the head coach, after they scored a touchdown, they got back in this game. The game they actually won, and Rodgers was like, "Who do you think you are?" Touching, high-fiving me, and trying to give me slap five on, celebrate with me. I put that on my other channel, and it's still out there on TikTok. It's still out there on YouTube Shorts. That's when Woody Allen and his assistants and his manager said, "You know what? That this is not working." But what did he do? They made it worse. They fired the one guy that's actually cobbled together a decent team, who actually had a lot of say on the defensive players, and that's Robert Saleh. And I said it back then on my videos, even though I wasn't a Jets fan. It just ended the season. I just ended the suffering. I'm always making fun of the Jets. But Robert Saleh was a good defensive coach, and I think they made a serious mistake by getting rid of him. So I posted this on pregame.com. They had Mike Patine was the coach for the Cleveland Browns. He got them, they were 2 wins, and he got them to 4 wins, and he got them to 7 wins, and they were 7-9, and 3 of those games were in overtime that they should have won. And they make the playoffs in that final year. What that Haslam, the truck driver magnate, he was so impatient. It was only second year on the team, and he said, let's start over. And then he proceeded to win 1 game in the next 2 years under Hugh Jackson. So that's what happens when the owners are impatient. That's why they call the NFL not for long. Not the NFL, not the National Football League. NFL stands for not for long. That's why Bill Belichick will not work for him. Bill Belichick somehow cobbled together a press conference the day he was announced that he was the head coach of the New York Jets. I am not going to play for the New York Jets. Well, what does Bill Belichick know that the rest of the world didn't know? I thought, why is he doing this? Well, Woody Johnson must be a real jerk to work for. He must be another Jerry Jones. So enough of that part, but I just think that the Jets quit. I think they mailed the players. When the team quits, some of them are going to keep trying hard because they're marginal players. It was between them and 4 other people on the practice squad, and they got elevated, and they got a starting job for a little bit. They're going to keep playing no matter what. I mean, they're going to do their best because they want the next year's contract. But the players that know they're going to be back, and some teams, some form next year, big experienced offensive linemen, which they're not a dime a dozen like you think. Certain defensive backs, they're going to get a job in the NFL, no problem. They may have to take a little bit less money, but someone will pick them up quick, and they know it. So they're going to mail it in. And that's the majority of every team. I don't care if it's Kansas City all the way down to the New York Giants. Each team has certain percentages of those that know they're going to be in the NFL next year, those that are going to they know this is their last year, and those in between. And the ones that are in between are one of the only ones, that's 1/3 of the team is the only ones going to try. The other 2/3, they're going to mail it in. Let the next guy make the next tackle. He's going to get the first, I don't care if he gets first down or not, I'm just going to save my body. They're playing not to get hurt, folks. I did it too. That's where I'm getting this from. I did it too. We all do it. We just don't want to admit to ourselves or admit to other people because we're trying to always save face. Well, I'm trying to pick winners for you guys, and you're getting me for free. We're taking Seattle Seahawks. I bet against them last week. It was my only loss, and let me put that up here really quick here. When I submit my picks through Fish Tank Soup Simulator on pregame.com, I put my picks in, the 5 picks, and I screenshot it, and I save it. Well, here's last week. I won with the Bears. Well, that was actually the push. On Fish Tank Simulator, it was Bears +3, but they lost by exactly 3 in overtime. But here on the betting site, when you make your picks, I won with this one. I won with the Dolphins -7. I won with the Broncos. Lost with the Cardinals was my only loss. In retrospect, that was a bad pick. And I won with the Packers. It was the easiest Packer win this year for me. I I was impressed with Seattle. On the other video, I even kept praising Geno Smith when he was with West Virginia Mountaineers, and he's paid his dues. I mean, there's a part of me that really admires Geno Smith. And some of it has to go back to the West Virginia Mountaineers teams. I can't think of any other quarterback that sat on the bench for 11 years like that and then finally got the starting job back. Can you? You can name one or correct me. Leave it in the comments below, and maybe you can teach me something. But I think the Jets quit. I think they gave up. And the last 5 meetings since 2008, Seattle's won every game. And I look for them to continue that streak. This is a momentum pick. Seattle needs this game really bad. The Jets are out. They can't do nothing. All 4 of those teams in the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks, the Arizona Cardinals, Los Angeles Rams, the 49ers. All 4 of them are still in. I know the 49ers are banged up and they're having their problems, but if one of them gets on a run, they'll win the division. And they'll get to host a playoff game. They're probably going to get a black and blue team that's going to be the wild card because they couldn't beat either Detroit or Philadelphia with their lofty records. It could be Minnesota. Minnesota is 13-4, and they can't beat Detroit for the number 1 seed, or if the Commanders can't beat Philadelphia for the number 1 seed, if Detroit starts losing, that second team is going to have a 13-4, 12-5 record. They'll get to go to NFC West team. They could be a 7-10 team, but that's a different video for a different day. And sometimes that team has won. Seattle Seahawks, they beat the Saints. Saints were 13-3. They couldn't get past the 49ers. They were in the same division back in those days. And they won that. They upset the mighty Saints. I remember that. So it can happen. That's what's going to happen here. Teams know if they can win the division, they get to host a game. I mean, that's very powerful. So I like Seattle here. I just think the Jets just end the season. But the spread here, I know the number of bets are 70% on Seattle, and the money's close to the same. The money line, it's even worse for Seattle. It's like, what are they worried about? The 2 points or 1.5 points or 2.5 points? 87% of the tickets are on Seattle. 90% of the money is on Seattle. That is very odd, but that tells me that I think the sharp money is on Seattle. I'm going to follow sharp money before I follow anything else. Now let's get to the next game. We're taking the Indianapolis Colts. They're at the New England Patriots. Okay, New England's 1-4 at home this year. They only won one home game all last year under Bill Belichick's last year. The team was a dumpster fire. The spread is a little lofty. Got 73% of the money. Tickets are on the Colts, and 27 is on Patriots. Money line is just like the Seattle game. It's 85% of the money is on Indianapolis. Only 15% is on New England. So there's very little money coming in on New England. I think the sharps know that way this is going to go. The guy's got an oscillator. He sends stuff to the computer. It's 100 times. And the average score is the Colts 19 and New England 13. So the average margin of victory is 5.9 or 6 points per game. I mean, look at the injury report. I see nothing critical on the Colts side. Michael Pittman, but he was in full practice. The Cole Strange is limited. He was the best offensive lineman they got. And there's 3 defensive linemen. And one of them was Daniel Ecali. He's limited in practice. This Kyle Duggar, ankle injury, limited in practice. The one guy's out. They got this Jabril Peppers, he's got a knee, limited. 5 of their defensive ends and defensive tackles for the front 4 are on this report. So how are you going to sack the quarter? Oh, and by the way, the Giants had no sacks last week against Baker Mayfield in Tampa. The Colts have a little small problem. They're 5-7. 8-4 against the spread. They're probably one of the better cover teams in the NFL. The last couple of weeks they haven't covered, but they've played 2 tough teams too. The last 2 out of 3 they had to face Detroit, but they beat the Jets, and they had to face Buffalo, and they were covering that game until the wheels came off late in the fourth quarter. They were at Minnesota. They gave Minnesota run for their money. Again, the wheels came off the last 5 minutes of that game. They lost to Houston twice, but they covered against Houston twice. I mean, there's a scrappy little team here. Their pathway, their next game, okay, they got at Denver, and there might be a little look-ahead spot here, but maybe not. Because after that, they got Tennessee and the New York Giants, 2 winnable games. So they're chasing the Broncos for the 6th, 7th seed, and possibly 6th seed if both these teams keep winning out. If they can beat the Broncos next week, they're in real good shape for get to the 7th seed, and possibly even the 6th seed. Yeah, they're going to have to go on a road, but they don't care. They want to get there. And if they could beat Denver next week, and they beat Tennessee, and they beat Giants, that's 3 in a row, and the next thing you're looking, you got 8-17 with 2 games to go. They're in this race. I like their chances. New England, they ain't going anywhere. It's possible they may be tanking to get a better pick too. You got to remember that too. I forgot to add that I think the Giants could be possibly doing that. That's why they haven't fired Daboll yet. We're paying them for the whole year. Okay, get this. They're paying for the whole year. Just run out the string. We're going to pay the coaches on the contract. At the end of the year, then we'll clean house. That's probably the general manager and his athletic director. That's what they're all doing right now, and the ownership and their assistants. So, but we're going to take the Colts. I can't take New England, so I'm going to take the Colts. And New England's a home dog. Home dogs were terrible. They were 2 wins, 4 losses in the push last week, with the Bears being the push. I should do a spreadsheet just on home underdogs. You can be shocked how little they've won. I guarantee it's below 40% or less. The last pick, struggle with this last pick, but I'm gonna go with what I know. I'm using my vast experience in handicapping games past, and I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles and his generous 3 points. I know the Baltimore Ravens. Nothing but good things about them, and I got a good. And then the computer stopped on me. Internet service is intermittent, and their cell phone service. We had a big storm. I got stuck in the traffic. It took me 4.5 hours to get to work. Get 504. Let me screenshot this. 504 is gateway timeout. Okay, let me try it again. Trust me when I say this, that you got Team A has offense, defense, and special teams. Team B has offense, defense, and special teams. Now we're going to get rid of the special teams because they're on the field for 11% of the time, clockwise, or less. For a fraction of the plays, probably, I'm going to say 18% of the plays, if that. You got your offensive team and your defensive team. Offensive team, defensive team between two teams. Okay. Now, we all can agree that the Philadelphia Eagles and the Ravens offense are top 2, top 3, top 4. Their offenses, when they're clicking, when they're mowing them, Philadelphia's a mow your ass down. Baltimore's a mow down and finesse team. Both quarterbacks, Hurts and Lamar Jackson, are having great years. Philadelphia's got Saquon Barkley, okay, and Baltimore's got Derrick Henry. He's getting in mid-season form, okay. He's getting in playoff form. He's not washed up. Okay, now let's talk about the defense. Got Team A's got defense, Team B's got defense, right? Well, Philadelphia defense is playing very, very well, and I got them as the number 1 defense in the NFL right now, even higher than the Detroit's. I got Minnesota as number 2, believe it or not. Their defense is playing very well. Their offense is kind of shaky, but we'll get to them another time. Baltimore's defense is, I got them at number 28. I got them one above Cincinnati, their main competitor, in Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh got good defense. Cincinnati does not. And we scratched that game. We were going to take the Bengals, but we're not giving the Steelers 2.5 points. It came down to those 2 games, the Cincinnati game or this Baltimore game. Okay, Cincinnati, they're home, but they're also not winning. They've won 1 home game. For some reason, they're not doing well at home. Baltimore's kind of middle of the pack. I can't get on the site to get the exact numbers. I don't want to give you the wrong numbers, but now I can't because I got the gateway timeout. But Philadelphia, they've won, 7 in a row? They've covered 6 in a row. Covered the spread the last 7 out of 8. Whatever problems that the Eagles had, Sirianni has managed to at least mask it, if nothing else. But if he's masking it and not curing it, it's still a pretty good damn team. And Baltimore, they're great in their own right. I like the Ravens. I like everything they do, but their defense is terrible. And I just don't see how that Baltimore can win this game. They were struggling against the Chargers last week they jumped at 10-0, looked pretty good. But the Ravens offense, they started mowing them down, but they went 4 on 4th down. They did certain things and they put Andrews as a quarterback sneak, almost like the Wildcat I talked about in the other video. It's amazing how that works out, and it works. The Chargers had no answer for that, and they only did it 1 time, but maybe they're saving that. But they won't work against Philadelphia. Philadelphia's got team speed on that defense, I'm telling you. The wrong team is favored. I got Philadelphia by minus 2.5 favorite in this game. And now Baltimore come out as a 3-point favorite? That's a 5.5 point swing. I'm taking the Eagles. I just think that they're on a mission. Baltimore's still in good shape if they lose this game. And they're behind Pittsburgh anyway. They may already know that they're going to be a wild card team. But I just think the Philadelphia Eagles, I just think they're just too tough. 71% of the tickets are on the Eagles. But the money line, check this out, the money line. 58% of the tickets are on the Ravens, but 92% of the money is on Philadelphia. How about them apples, baby? You can read what you want to that. I'm reading the sharp actions on the Philadelphia Eagles. What do they know that we don't know? There's some sharp action on the Eagles. I got to take this. This is the most lopsided I can remember seeing in a long time on this site. Enjoy the NFL and more. Eat plenty of turkey. It's always a great day to be an American, and this country is grateful for its blessings. And those blessings came by hardworking people. And I'm going to say it on this video, and I'm not taking it off. Okay, great people make great cultures, and great cultures make a great nation. And America is still a great nation. Okay, don't let the losers and the naysayers get you down and try to wordsmith you and call you a racist, misogynist, everything else. So just let them run their mouths. Okay, it's the makers and creators and the workers and the settlers and pioneers and explorers who made this great country, not these woke people. And I'm leaving it on the video. If they don't like it, they know they can kiss where the sun doesn't shine. Thank you, players. Always a great day to be an American, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.